Recently, this guy here asked me if I could make a video about memories and how they work. So today, I will try to explain not only how memories work, but also try to explain how you can create memories more efficiently based on this knowledge. First, it is important to know that we can categorize or explain a cognitive function, such as memory, in many different ways. There is a biological explanation, such as by a neurochemical mechanism, the physiological neurons that we have in our brains, the synaptic activation of these neurons, the anatomy of the brain itself, or just the expression of memory as concepts, such as the capacity to remember things or to hold them in our heads. And starting with this last one, we can divide the concept of memory in two ways. First, there is short-term memory, which is defined as memory for informations currently held in our minds that will probably be forgotten later, which also includes the concept of working memory, the capacity to, for example, hear a telephone number, remember it for a while, and forget about it some minutes or hours later. Sometimes it can even work for months even, for example. People who tend to study for a test like a university test, and they tend to study so many things, but all of this knowledge is mechanical and even superficial. It is punctual way of learning things because after they've done the test, they simply forget about it. This is short-term memory. It is activated through what is called the top-down activation of the brain. That is, it starts with you intentionally wanting to perceive and to remember something that normally is expressed or is outside. So it starts in your brain and it is expressed outwards by a task or a behavior, and then deleted after this task or behavior is completed. Second, there is long-term memory, which on the other hand refers to information that is stored through time, differently to short-term memory. The long-term memory can actually be divided in so many different subcategories due to its complexity. While short-term memory tends to use more sensorial parts of the brain, the long-term memories tend to use very different parts of it. It can first be a declarative long-term memory regarding events, that is episodic memory. This is when you remember activities, situations, and experiences you had in your life. A tiny curiosity is that women rather than men tend to have better episodic memories. This also makes sense when you regard women as those who have better capacity to visualize and to think with images rather than words. Then this declarative memory can also be around facts, being called the semantic memory, that surrounds the knowledge that you have about the world, the universe, objects, languages, concepts, philosophy, and so on. And here is a catch. Men do not have better semantic memory than women do. And one of the reasons for this can be due to the correlation between memory and the limbic system of the brain, which is also called the emotional parts of the brain. Women have a deeper limbic system and a larger hippocampus than men do. They tend to have higher synaptic activations in these areas and can due to this be related to having better memories overall than men do. That's why many couples tend to say how women never forget, which can be true in some way. So be careful in what you do or what you say if you are in a relationship with one. They will probably remember those things, for good or for bad. It's up to you. There's also this quote which says how you can forget the words people say, but never how you make them feel. And again, there is some knowledge in this as well, which is that memories are very related to emotions. You remember more when you have a professor or a teacher you like, when you are emotionally invested, not only in the knowledge itself, but in whoever is delivering it to you. Personally, I do believe that there is no differences between relating to other people and having emotions or feeling them even. When we socialize, we tend also to activate the limbic system more broadly. And with this, we may facilitate the formation of memories due to that. In the book Neuroaffective Neuroscience, Jacques Panksepp says how if you have an emotion, you can relate that to another person. If you feel anger, you've been neglected of something, or by someone or something that you wanted in the world. If you feel sad, you feel like you don't have enough social connections, or you feel incapable of having those things you wanted. If you feel joy in your life, then you think you can actually do it, but that also could be due to the social support you have around you. Sometimes memory is very associated with the hippocampus, not simply as a way to store memory, but rather a way to transform it. Either from the rational parts of the brain, where most cognitive processes are being made, like to identify objects and their utility in the world, to these limbic parts where the hippocampus also is included, which in this case are more related to relate things to one another, to identifying scenes and values. So instead of focusing on how to apply those things like the cortical areas of the brain do, the hippocampus evaluates if it is worth having the consequences of that, or even the costs of doing such a thing, if it is good, if it is bad, if it is worth, or if it is not. And for this, it retrieves old experiences, patterns of neuronal activations and synapses and so on to this present situation at hand. And this is our first tip here. If you want to improve your memory, learn through what you enjoy. Either a person you like, a topic you are fond of. If you can feel that which you are learning, you will improve your memory, or at least you will remember that thing you are trying to remember or learn better. So that's it. Emotions. Use emotions to remember better, or even other people. To summarize this explanation, the episodic and semantic memories, therefore, are related to a declarative memory or explicit memory, a memory that we are normally aware that we are having. But there is also this non-declarative or implicit memory, which can be procedural, perceptual, classical, or non-associative. Procedural memory is related to the skills we learn and that we repeat without thinking about them too much. You just do, or you just act. Perceptual representations are related to how you perceive the world around you, based on your experiences, your philosophies of life, the thoughts that you have, and so on. If you do therapy or psychotherapy, you can become able to change this one actually. And I think we can even differentiate it in two ways of changing this perceptual system, which is through time. Everything you learn, everything you think, every situation you experience, all of them end up summarizing and becoming part of who you are. And if you want to change that, you should change in these very specific and very tiny actions you do every day. And with this, changing this whole perception you have with the world around you. But if you experience some traumatic situation, that can also change this perception system that you have. In this case, in a very brutal and intense and fast way, unfortunately. For example, when you discover that you were cheated by your partner, when you have suffered a traumatic experience such as the death of a parent or a very close friend of yours. Stuff like this can really change these perceptions that you have. Following up, we have classical conditioning, which is the correlation between a thing and another thing. You do something, you receive a reward, you do that again. Your brain remembers it. You do something, you get a punishment, your brain remembers that as well, and you don't do it again. Sometimes people can receive good things even from bad situations or actions they have, and this is why they tend to repeat those. So if you are doing something you don't like or don't enjoy, psychotherapy or analysis again can help you to recognize these patterns you have in your life. Finally, we have non-associative learning, which is going to be our second or third tip here for learning and remember things better, because it dwells on what is called habituation. And habituation is something very simple. You do something, you keep doing it. You repeat it and you learn through a long time. And that's it. Everything you do and you keep doing it, you will not only remember it more, but you will also remember it better through exposition and repetition. The synapses of your brain that normally have to make very difficult associations between one another, between these emotional and rational parts of your brain, end up, when you habituate or just keep repeating it, becoming simpler, faster, and better to recollect events and to keep reproducing them, just like in this image here. It is almost as if you could create memories actively, not only needing to depend on your emotions and the natural causes of it. All you need here is intentionality. What do you want to remember? If you keep doing it, you will remember. As simple as that. Now, here is a recapitulation. Memories can be divided between long-term memories or short-term memories. They can be episodic, which is more related to visualization or to images and to experiences, even the sensorial ones, or they can be semantic, which is more related to abstraction, to concepts, to actions, knowledges, and so on. And when it comes to improving your memory, remembering, or learning, you can do these three things. First, if you want to learn better without using too much effort, that is, a more passive learning, you should be using emotions and your likes to do that. Personal example here is that I wanted to learn German, but I also really like video games. So I put my video games in German so I could play video games and also learn German all at the same time. And after 2 years of doing just that, I got to a C1 German, which is like almost a fluent German, let's say. Second, if you want to learn something very specific, even if you don't enjoy them all that much, therefore using a more active learning, you should use habituation. You do a task, you repeat it, you keep repeating it. Bam! You remember it better now. And third tip here is, if you want to change perceptions, habits, and understand the correlations between themselves better in your life, you should do psychotherapy or psychoanalytic consultations. Those things can help you with that. And if you are interested in those, you can check the link in the description and book a consultation with me. For now, I hope you remember to like, to subscribe, to write a comment, or even a recommendation for the next video, and I'll see you in the next time. Goodbye.